I grew up on a dairy farm, so our family was very busy all the time, and we never really discussed any feelings or any issues that come up. We were just taught to deal with it and move on, and just don't let the neighbors know of anything negative happening in our lives. I grew up going to church with my mom. My dad never went because he was always working, and my mom was a Sunday school teacher for years and years. Eventually, I stopped going to church when I was like 12 or 13 because my other siblings stopped going. Well, I entered my adolescent years as very withdrawn and lonely teen. I was looking for love in all the wrong places and trying to fill that void of the loneliness, and ended up having a crush on the boy next door, and just trying to please him with all of his wants and likes through the pressure of him and other peers. Ended up becoming sexually active at a very young age. Never thought it would happen to me, but ended up getting pregnant at a very young age. Finally took a pregnancy test and found out that it was positive, and at that time Roe versus Wade had just been passed, not even realizing it because I was so young. Later told my parents, which was devastating for them because they had no idea what to do either. And through the pressure of Planned Parenthood and other people telling them what needs to be done, when they asked me what I wanted, I really didn't even know, other than I just wanted to be a teenager again. And with those words, that's when they made the final decision to take me to New York City to have late-term abortion. It was just a given that it's something you never talk about. Don't let any of the neighbors know what we just went through. Don't discuss it with anybody. Just forget about it and move on. We all blocked it out, we thought, for years and years, and it was a perfect example of denial. Trying to stuff all the pain and memories of that horrific event. I turned to the partying scene, drinking, drugging, whatever I could find to just, forget about it and pretend it didn't happen. And then a few years after that, I met an older guy. What attracted me to him was his, wild and crazy life of drinking and drugging. It helped make the memories just go farther and farther away, and there were no feelings because it was just too exciting and things going on at the time that I didn't have time to think about anything. And then as years went on, his drinking and drugging became more and more active, and our lives became more and more unmanageable. And it actually was, looking back now, as a perfect match, because I was able to take the focus off of myself and put it on the other person, the alcoholic. And then in turn, I was trying to control his drinking, his actions. I thought, well, maybe if we get married and start a family, that would, help our situation. And then he would stop drinking. So we started a family, and that didn't stop from there. Actually, I stopped drinking and drugging at that time because, somebody had to take care of the kids. And his situation just increased and became crazier and crazier until I couldn't take it anymore, and I somehow found the courage to file for divorce, and just knew that I didn't want to bring up our children in this environment. That's when he all of a sudden decided to sign himself into a 28-day rehab, which totally floored me. That was not my intention at all. I was done over, wanted to start a new life and move on. So he went into alcohol and drug rehab and decided to change his life. They had a family program, and they started suggesting that I go to Al-Anon. excuse me, I'm not the one with the drinking and drugging problem. I stopped, everything's good in my life. If I could just get rid of him, things would get better. And so I had a lot of bitterness and anger and resentments toward him, but I decided to give him another chance since that was the right thing to do in my mind. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. I can see why a lot of people get divorced after somebody stops drinking, because it was like two new people trying to live together. So in 1997, we decided to move to Florida, and we started attending a church, going to Bible study and getting active in the church. Our children got involved in the youth group there, and we were baptized as a family together. And we basically learned about God's forgiveness for our past sins and how we've been washed clean. It was a new beginning for us all. I had asked God over and over, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me for my sins of that abortion. I didn't know at the time even what it was, what I was doing. And it would rear its ugly head to me over and over through the years. And as soon as it started coming up, I would push it back down because the pain was so excruciating. It was just something that I never dealt with, and I didn't want to deal with it because it was too painful. But I can't explain how it all happens, but God tells us to share our burdens with others and you will be healed. And the miracle happens.